The Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series continues their season and their trudge towards the playoffs tonight here at Kentucky. This is a racetrack that we've never come to for Cup Series action on SimTV, and that all changes tonight with a 134-lap race around this Kentucky Speedway. Hello, my name's Kyle Hiram, joined tonight by Finney and Dakuna. We're SimTV, just coming off of the Speed 51 Elite Modified Tour. We're trying a little bit long, so we missed qualifying, but we didn't miss any of the race, Finney, and so we're just rolling off, and we're going to go through our starting lineup immediately as we roll off to start the night. Anthony Debaro on the front row, Jeff Ward in the 89. He's on the outside. Two of our championship leaders continue their dominance in qualifying here this evening. Row number 2, Matt Hollabo in the number 02. He's from the Northwest. He starts third. Greg Evans, a previous champion of this series, he starts fourth in his number 46. He's from the Carolinas. In row number 3, Nick Cohan from Pennsylvania alongside Brian Chambliss coming over from the ORL series. He sits sixth in his number 45 machine. Position number 7, Alec Martinez in the 54, one of the Sim Motorsports drivers. He's been solid so far this season. Thomas Bressi in the number 24 machine is going to start on the outside of row number 4. Let the rest of that scroll along the bottom of your screen. Finney, and a quick start to this one, but thoughts? Who's your favorite coming into the night? I think it'd be hard not to pick Debaro.
Yeah, I think absolutely it would be not out of the question to pick that 27, one of the most dominant drivers this season so far. We'll definitely keep an eye on him. Well, he's got Jeff Ward and a couple of other really strong contenders up towards the front, all surrounding him. So I have to keep an eye and see who's the best of the rest.
Field rolls out of turn number 4. The flagman's waiting to drop that green flag. He's got it in hand here, Finney. 134 laps. This race will take about an hour and 6 minutes if it goes green to the end. Field rolls out of turn number 4. We are 30, almost 40 cars strong. Green flag flies, racing in Kentucky.
A fantastic start for Debaro. Meanwhile, it's Holloway and Jeff Ward side by side and 3 wide down into turn 1 for second.
There's a stack up in the background, but I think we got it all sorted up. So at the front of the field, Debaro leads the way. Jeff Ward gets shuffled back a little bit, but Nick Cohan up into second place on the back straightaway. He's already flying to the front, trying to take advantage of what he can. There is nobody other than Toyotas and Dizzy Motorsports that's been atop the podium this year. We'll see if that stays the same here tonight. 1 lap complete. Debaro leads the way, 3 wide behind him. Everyone's going to be using that apron here on the front straightaway. Finney, how much of an advantage really is that?
It definitely can be quite a bit, especially more in years past, because you got that big wing on the back, and it gives you a little bit more downforce to work with. Before you had to worry about getting a little bit loose down there, but now you can have quite a bit of grip, so it'll definitely give you something you can set up a pass into turn 1.
Again, we're 36 cars strong entering the race tonight. John Wilco, the last of them. Anthony Debaro, the first of them as we complete lap number 2. Alec Martinez in that 54. He's all over the back of Shane Ewing in the 32, and Martinez has been really solid so far this year. We've seen him grace victory lane in a couple different series in the past, and right now is battling with an Outsider Racing League friend, Brian Chambliss, on the inside of them as they exit turn number 2.
And Shane Ewing also in the mix there. Had an unfortunate run at Dover, got involved in a wreck after running pretty well. Running well tonight so far in 7th, though he's got Martinez and Chambliss all over him.
So Ewing works his way on the outside of the 54 across the start-finish line. Thomas Bressi, this 24 car is one that I would have expected to see in victory lane at some point in Fuel's history, but has not managed to get there yet. Maybe the road courses are the best opportunity for him, but every single week this driver is capable of winning a race. He has not been able to do it just yet. Maybe tonight is his night. A bit deeper in the field, there is the 50 of Casey Lakatos. Different livery on board that car this week. That's Casey Shue on the outside and Hayden Pistorius in the 19 on the inside. A lot of these drivers actually run the Outsider Racing League. They run both, or either an or, and it's been really impressive to see so much crossover this season. And both series have been absolutely spectacular so far. But Fuel's car counts have just been incredible. 36 strong. Or maybe 6-7 races into the season. This is looking really solid.
Yeah, and also some returning faces too. Filip Radojcic in the 14 car is back after making a few starts last season. It's so nice to see him back on the grid.
Yeah, and that number 14 Mustang. It's got the old, looks like an old Tony Stewart scheme, but it's not. It just had an appearance at first. But he started in 17th, and he's gained 3 spots, so he's climbing his way forward. And again, he was no slouch when he was here before, and I don't expect that to change. He'll be quick tonight. The sun also setting here at Kentucky. We'll take a look at our track conditions this evening. 82 on the racetrack, which is about 5 degrees warmer than ambient. That means this track is only going to get grippier as the night goes on, which means faster speeds and more action. 6 laps complete here. Anthony Debaro out front by half a second. He's won 3 races so far this year, Finian. Is it too early to say that that he's going to have this on lockdown like he did last year, or do you think that someone else is going to get better as the season goes on and potentially challenge him for that championship?
I mean, I think it's definitely not wrong to say that he's a solid championship contender and probably the favorite going into the playoffs. I think that's given at this point with 3 wins in only 6 rounds. But yeah, I think I'm definitely keeping my eye out to see some other guys. Maybe for Nick Cohen. Cohen too has been running. If the 27 hasn't been leaving, it's been the 21 car that's been in the league, and he's currently running in second, chasing down his teammate.
One car I'm watching right now is a 76 of Mitchell Welker, and you know, I don't think he's run all the races so far this year, so he's kind of a rare occurrence to show up in the Cup side of things, Finian, but he started in 14th. He's dropped 1 spot to 15th. He's been as low as 16th spot, though, so kind of where he started right now. He's got a line of cars up behind him. That's Norm Pelletier in the 56, Christopher Matthews in the 92, Riley Thompson in the 58, all line astern as they negotiate traffic. And Welker on the outside of the 56. Got a little dicey out of turn 2 here, Finian, but the outside lane going to prove to be the best one. And that's a discussion we haven't had yet tonight because we kind of came in a little late. Which line do you think is going to be the best one? Because it seemed like most drivers are kind of bottom to middle feeding right now. Do you think that top line is going to get better as the race goes on?
I don't really think so. I think just due to the banking at this track and just the way the corner is profiled, I think it's going to be that bottom, maybe the middle line is probably the highest you're going to get. Not so much the top lane. I think we're going to definitely see guys pretty much go no higher than the middle.
So some battling all throughout the field, but we're going to jump back up to about 3rd spot. That's Hollabaugh in the number 02 and Greg Evans in the 46. Greg Evans was the first winner of the Fuel Cup Series about 2 seasons ago. He won a bunch of races, but last season had a drought all the way until Martinsville, which was about the 3rd to last round, if I recall, maybe even the penultimate round in that 46 car, and won a race there, but has not won since. So we know he's hungry in that Chevy Camaro, and he's going to be really aggressive. And again, only Toyotas have won this season, so we'll see if maybe we can get a bow tie in victory lane tonight. Shane Ewing and Alec Martinez, they got to be getting sick of each other already. They've been side by side pretty much since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, they also were around each other quite a bit at Dover, too, so they've seen each other quite a bit. Chandler's now looking to the inside of Martinez, as well as Timothy Johnson in the 28 sitting in behind him.
Yeah, Alec Martinez and Anthony Debaro really didn't have spectacular runs at Dover. They pulled some strategy to get halfway points and ended up getting kind of buried in the standings for most of the race. It hurt the 54 a lot more than it hurt the 27, but we'll see how the strategy plays out tonight. But so far, 12 green flag laps. I anticipate a pretty long green flag run tonight, at least 1 or 2 of those. So I think the green flag pit stop strategy is really what's going to be the challenge this evening. Timothy Johnson in the 28. He's been a championship driver in the past. And just got kind of rudely pushed out of the Fuel Finals last season at Rockingham, looking to change that. Thomas George got Sirius XM on the car this week. That's a new livery and a very good-looking one at that.
Yeah, he's one of those drivers that's really just been nailing that paint scheme. That's a really nice reflective blue, too. Looks really good.
It's a really good-looking paint scheme, that's for sure. Zach Buchanan in the number 40, another one of the Project 2 teammates, the other being Mitchell Welker back in 15th spot. So both these drivers in 12th to 15th at the moment. And remember, Buchanan had a little trouble at Dover after running pretty solid. So he's had a lot of bad luck. He always is running like 12th to 15th and ends up having something happen to him. So hopefully he can get through a full race night and have some luck turn his way. Meanwhile, for 3rd place, woo, Jeff Ward just slid around Hollabaugh. And that was pretty dicey there for a second. Let's get a replay of that. Off into turn 3. That was just a couple inches that they traded.
Yeah, he used that run off the corner and then just threw it in there and was able to make the pass done. I think that's really what you're going to have to do. This is typically racing like we normally see the 1.5 miles. You got to build up that run and then make a dive into the corner.
Field mostly single filed out right now. Debaro continues to lead the way. He hasn't really been the fastest driver out there. I mean, he does have the fastest lap recorded if you take a look on the left-hand side of the screen. However, Nick Cohen has been a touch quicker the last couple laps, so maybe this 21 has got something for him. Again, Nick Cohen has also won a race this season. Remember, back to Darlington, won in a little bit of dramatic fashion, but a win is a win is a win. And again, Disney Motorsports has swept the season so far. With Timothy Johnson at Daytona, Nick Cohen at Darlington, and Debaro in the other 3. So, been pretty solid.
I'm looking at Greg Evans. His right front looks like he's been in the wall. And so about 5 laps ago, he had a little bit of a run coming out of turn 4. Ended up hitting the wall on exit there. So that's how he got his damage, and seemed to have dropped him back just a little bit.
You see that fender crinkle on the right front of that car, and it really shouldn't affect the handling too much. But I could certainly see how that might he might want to get that fixed in pit lane and give up some track position to do that. So we'll see how it affects him. Started 4th, he's dropped 1 spot to 5th, but doesn't really seem like it's slowing him down all that much. Timothy Johnson, the Daytona winner, in 9th place right now behind Shane Ewing. Alec Martinez has slipped away from the 32 finally. And 24, Thomas Bresci just up the road, still using that apron on the front straight. There's a lot of racetracks like Las Vegas where we see that front straight shortcut being used pretty much every lap, but not here, especially because it's so bumpy. It's just not pleasant to drive on for very long. Don Rodden in the 33, he's been a pretty solid night so far, is sitting 14th. And hasn't really had a whole lot of great runs in the past. Has a lot of bad luck, and when he doesn't have bad luck, it's just a pace problem. But tonight, 14th place is the 71 of Gael Brooks, scraping the wall out of turn 4. Just a scratch there. I don't really think he got any significant damage out of it. You want to talk, or are you just going to hang out?
Sorry. I'm just kind of looking around to see what's going on, and indeed something is going on. There's a pass for position as Alec Martinez goes to the inside of Thomas Bresci for a spot. He's finally been caught up to that 24. It's kind of fallen off base here a little bit.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's... I guess it is a little bit... Ooh, you see come way down on the apron. See how much... And he is actually almost going to complete the pass by taking that shortcut, but I also keep an eye on this 54 over the length of the run. We've seen him be really solid in long runs before, although there the 24 slides up the racetrack. Maybe a bit of argy-bargy between these two. And the 54 is going to show his displeasure with a little bit of a shove down the back straight. Maybe a bit too early to be racing quite this hard, but I think these drivers have a mutual respect, and I think they'll continue without any issues. And Timothy Johnson's lurking here as well. But you're right, the 24 has been off the pace a little bit. Could have burned up his stuff. But certainly they've lost ground to 5th place Greg Evans just up the road. Gael Brooks slow in turn 4, and there's a big scramble, and he's dropping down the order quite quickly. Let's go back and take a look at how... Oh, there was a big slide in turn 4 with the 58, I believe it was, of Riley Thompson. The 71 gets up on the door of the 58. They make contact. A big slide, and they both slowed way down, but they caught it and will continue.
Yeah, great save by both of them, just being able to get these cars under control. That easily could have been a massive wreck, taking out several cars in behind them.
Here's a look from on board the 50 of Casey Lakatos towards the 20th spot. You can see up the road the red and green car. They get together, and great job by both these drivers to save that and carry on. The last couple of weeks, actually, really all season, Fuel's had a really good record with cautions, and it's because these drivers have figured out how to save these cars, which in seasons past we've seen a lot of different leagues struggle with, but not this one this season. They've done a really phenomenal job. Meanwhile, speaking of a phenomenal job, Nick Cohan has reeled in leader Anthony Debaro, and we've got a battle on our hands for the top spot.
Yeah, curious how this is going to play out, if these guys are going to be nice with each other, if they're going to be aggressive, because they got the 89 Jeff Ward, who's also pretty much caught up to the leader, so it's almost a 3-way fight for the lead now.
I don't see why they shouldn't be super aggressive. They both are locked into the Fuel Finals. They both have wins to their names. There's really no reason why you shouldn't race as hard as you physically could, other than just wanting to rack up some more bonus points before the Fuel Finals begin in a couple of weeks. So I would, if I'm the team owner here at Disney Motorsports, I'm just saying let them race, but I guess we'll see how that actually turns out.
Well, I would too, but I think they might want to get a little bit worried with Jeff Ward behind him, because if they're busy fighting with each other, that 89 might just slip on through and pass them easily. And then neither wins.
And Ward, again, didn't get a great start. Dropped all the way back to 5th place and has climbed his way back to 3rd. But he is reeling them in, and this time through, the leaders were a 31.8, and Jeff Ward was a 31.75. So definitely seems like that 89 is the quickest of the top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, he's running a little different lane compared to Cohen, and a little bit more different than Anthony Debaro, so taking different lines to the corner and trying to get clean air to that nose.
You see Nick Cohan's vastly different line entering the corner. He's right down on that yellow line. The 27's up towards the middle of the racetrack, more conserving some tires, although the 21's line might be quicker in the mid-corner. It's going to lose him some time on exit. But right now, the slipstream potentially helping the 21 a little bit. That's the package we're dealing with here, Finian.
Whoa! Back with Martinez. Saw a big block from Thomas Bresty. These guys are getting aggressive with each other.
Oh, and might be some more contact here. We'll go back and look at that as soon as these guys calm down. I also want to pull away in case something happens between these two. Do I dare pull away?
I will wait just a little bit here as Martinez has got to run to the outside of Thomas Bresty. I imagine the 54 is going to pinch the 24 to the inside, and here he goes. He's going to rock it around.
I think he's got the spot now, and he does. Let's go back a lap. And wow, you're right. Holy cows. This is out of turn 4. Here's a look. 54 cuts down to the left and moves to the right. The 24 throws a huge block on him. Wow. What a move that was. And they must have a lot of trust in each other to be doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the great points about this league, too. These guys are really good at racing each other. And I think that's also led to quite a low amount of cautions this season so far.
Yeah, that would have been a crash.
They're keeping it up tonight.
In pretty much any other situation, that would be a crash. But those two drivers, not only are they immensely talented, but you got a little lucky there, too. So there's that. Nick Cohan is right on the bumper of Anthony Debaro, and we're not done for the fight for the lead. And now it's a 3-horse fight with Jeff Ward bringing his Mustang to the mix.
Yeah, Ward was making some really quick time up to these guys, and now he's right in behind them. I'm curious how this Mustang's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see a Mustang go into victory lane here.
That's a funny-looking Toyota as he comes in from the background. And they've left Matt Hollabaugh in the dust in 4th place. They're 2 seconds up the road from him. So these 3 drivers right here, I think this is certainly our championship favorites. At least 3 of them that will be battling for the championship at the end of the year. I think you'd be remiss to say that anybody but these guys would be fighting for the championship. So Nick Cohan again taking that hard left into turn 3. He's going to almost get a quarter panel overlap with the 27. And Debaro will carry that momentum on exit and prevent the 21 from getting a side draft. But now look at Ward carrying all that speed. What's he going to do with it now? Ooh, swinging left and right. And that really threw off the 89.
Yeah, they were dogging each other, him and the 21 playing games, and unfortunately Ward went way wide in the corner, lost him a lot of speed. And with these guys playing games like this might allow a whole lot of cash back up to them.
Yeah, he's actually gained a couple tenths of a second. He's 1.8 back from Jeff Ward at the moment, 2.3 back from the leader. But again, they got a lot of gap, they got a lot of time to do what they want to do. Gael Brooks is dropped off the ticker here, Finian. Do you know why?
I don't see anything yet, and I'll let you know, but might be an internet.
Tyler Dulger is also 3 laps down, has exited the racetrack. Everyone else still running. Calvin Filarski, though, is returning to the racetracks 5 laps down. John Wilco is 9 laps down, but I haven't seen anybody crash yet, so I can't say that I know what's gone on.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's come back yet, and his quality is pretty low, so I imagine he's seconds away from getting kicked by the server out of this race. It'd be really unfortunate because he's having a really solid run.
So Debaro, Cohan, Ward, 1, 2, 3. We are about 32 laps into a fuel run here, so green flag pit stops coming relatively soon. We've dropped off about 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds from our best time earlier in the night. So what that means is that an undercut by a lap will get you a 2-second advantage, but are you willing to give that up in the later run? But look at Cohen, he almost pulled even with the 27 out of turn 4, but Debaro re-cleared himself with that upper group.
A great battle going on between Thomas George and Thomas Bresty. Whoa, they actually doored each other on the straightaway.
Thomas Bresty is driving extremely hard at it. Look how hard he drove it into the corner. And again, I'm going to have to go back and take a look at that incident out of turn 4. And yeah, the 9 came up the racetrack a little bit, gave the 24 a shove. They'll continue, but again, Bresty is just driving for everything he's worth tonight. Trying to get that car to go forward, but he's burning up his stuff, I fear, and he'll have to get some tires on it to be competitive again. Back through the field a little deeper, Zach Buchanan and Mitch Welker running nose to tail. Project 2 teammates at the moment, so they found each other, and they found kind of a nice pace to run until they can get some fresh tires on the car and battle for the lead up here a little farther. Speaking of the lead, Cohan is now defending from Ward because the battle for second is closer than it was just a moment ago.
Oh, and actually Ward's got a fantastic run coming out of turn 4 here. There's he going to go. He's going to look to the outside of Nick Cohen here. Going to try to get a little bit of side drive out to 21 as well.
He's there. Now, can he keep that overlap off into the corner? He doesn't. but I don't think turns 1 and 2 is nearly as good of an outside groove as 3 and 4 is. But look at the run he gets. A huge run for the 89 on the back straightaway.
And
Tucks to the inside.
That's what he was setting up. Yeah, that's what he was setting up right there. To the inside he'll go, and he's got an advantage on the 21 of Cohen. Gonna force the 21
he's gonna force it!
Up. Oh!
That was tight, but he did it. 09 of Brent Jones getting well out of the way, but Jeff Ward used up Nick Cohan, and he made a deposit, and we'll see if Cohan makes a withdrawal later tonight. Let's go back and watch that replay there. That was a little dicey. We'll watch from on board the 21. Yeah, that'll certainly rile you up if you're Nick Cohan.
Yeah. Nick Cohen will remember that, but a battle looming for 4th place as Greg Evans is caught up to Matt Hollaba, and also Martinez has joined the battle.
Alec Martinez is flying right now. He's actually running quicker than our leaders, a 32.090 the last time by. So he's pretty quick right now. We've seen him on long green flag runs. This kid is fast, so this is going to be a good night for him. I think he's going to need a caution to get anywhere near the leaders up at the front of the field, but at least with 4th, 5th, and 6th, he's putting on a show right now. And he's dragged Timothy Johnson with him, that 28 car who won Daytona.
Yeah, so Jim, Johnson following his way through the other Disney Motorsports car.
Greg Evans has caught the 0-2 Matt Hollaba, and where does the 54 go to find speed? Right to the bottom of the racetrack. Filip Radojcic in the 14 is a little slow on the back straightaway. Does he have an issue? Did he get in the wall potentially? Here's a look. Pushed up. Yep, he did get the fence out of turn 2. Swung right across it in front of Will Roberts and Casey Shue. So Radojcic returning to the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series after a long bout without running the series, and off to not a spectacular start tonight, so hopefully he can rebound a little bit. Brian Chambliss and Mitch Welker, they just traded spots. Mitch Welker is on the move forward.
Ooh, Nick Cohen down on pit road.
All right, undercut engaged, 38 laps into the run. Nick Cohen makes his way down.
He might have sped. He came in there really hot.
So we'll see if Cohan got a penalty or not. Jeff Ward is all over the leader. And what does the 27 of Debaro do to defend from this? Do you think he should come to pit lane, or do you think Debaro should just run his own race?
I think you should probably respond to this. I mean, it wouldn't hurt too. Again, everyone kind of running their own strategy, running their own numbers, and making sure that they're good for the rest of this race. And it looks like Cohan got a penalty.
Oh, man. Nick Cohan, speeding penalty on pit lane. And we'll have to sit there and serve it, and that's how you take yourself out of a win real quick. So unfortunately for Cohan, he'll have to serve that penalty, and he did serve it in pit lane. It was a 29-second stop, so it'll put him at least 2 laps down here as Anthony Debaro rolls out of turn 4. He might actually be able to stay on only 1 lap down, but it's going to be a tough hill to climb to get back up on the lead lap. But he tried to make that strategy work, and it didn't. Matt Hollaba hits pit lane from 5th spot. And pit lane here is curved here, Finian, so it doesn't really have a huge effect here in the simulator, but you got to make sure that you don't accidentally speed on the inside radius of it. As Jeff Ward, he's trying to take the lead away from the 27 of Debaro, side by side out of turn 4 across the start-finish line.
Yeah, it's going to be easy for Debaro too, because he's got one less Disney Motorsports car to worry about, and he just has to worry about the 27.
And he's going to try to clear Anthony Debaro. I don't think he's going to be able to. Side by side down the back straightaway.
Oh, he's trying to do the same thing he did to Cohen, force the 27 up the track.
Oh, he's going to get into the corner panel. Contact for the lead.
Whoa.
They're just absolutely pushing the issue here between the two. All right, welcome back. Sorry about that. I think the technology apocalypse is happening right now because not only did I run out of disk space on my SSD, we had a bunch of drivers lose connection and drop out of the race during this time. So apologize for that, but there are some things to update you about. Finian, can you tell me who has dropped out and who has stayed in?
Yeah, so from the looks of it, it looks like we lost Nick Cohan, Gael Brooks, who came back in after his first drop connection again. Also, Thomas Bresci, too, has lost connection, but all those drivers have rejoined or reconnected the server, and they're trying to get back out on track. They also went through, we're still through a green flag cycle. Ward and Debaro have come into the pits, and it seems like Ward actually, correction, I think Timothy Johnson's leading the charge of drivers who've come down to the pits.
Yeah, so Timothy Johnson, I don't exactly know how many laps he's been out on the tires because I don't have that data anymore because I had to restart the timing and scoring software, but I assume he came in before the 89, and here comes Jeff Ward up the inside now, and this will essentially, what about Matt Hallibo? I mean, he came in first, so he should be the one in the lead in this cycle.
Yeah, indeed he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, he's a little bit up the road from Jeff Ward and Timothy Johnson.
So a couple cars trading positions here, but Jeff Ward, I think, is going to be the ultimate winner around this. Anthony Debaro is a couple seconds back from that in his number 27. So, all right. So now we got everything kind of back to normal here somewhat. The 89, I think, is the best car out here, Finian. So Nick Cohan, I think, has called it a night. Oh, no, he's out there. He is. Okay, he's 10 laps down, though, at least in my scoring. So,
yes.
Why? Why would he come back out? Is my question. I mean, you're not going to get 10 laps back.
I don't know. I guess he's hoping something else happens to you guys, and Nick can never hurt to make up some points. I guess. I don't know.
Daisy Lakatos is staying out quite a while here, Finian. Maybe trying to play some strategy. Maybe hoping to get a yellow flag to kind of leapfrog him ahead of everybody. But this is a risky strategy in itself because if this race stays green, you're going to have a really tough time making up all this ground you're going to lose.
Dickens is hoping for a caution, although at the looks of it, probably not going to get one relatively soon.
55 laps complete of 134. Quickly closing in on our halfway lap, which should be, what's that off the top of my head? 60 is 120. 67. Thank you for the math. So about 12 laps away from that. Hayden Pistorius, Christopher Matthews, they just traded spots for second place. But again, Matt Hallibo is the one in control of the cycled out lead. But that's going to change very quickly as Jeff Ward is reeling him in very, very quickly.
Yeah, wondering if that's probably what Lakatos and guys are aiming for if they're trying to make it to that halfway mark. Although with the sheer amount of guys pitting in early, I imagine that we definitely can make it to that, but he's definitely going to try.
58 laps is a pretty long way to go, but it wouldn't surprise me. But we do have Hayden Pistorius hitting pit lane in his number 19, so he comes on down. The TDR Chevrolet, his teammate, the 58 of Riley Thompson. He almost got crashed out earlier, managed to save it and continue, and he's currently scored 15th before the cycle is finished here. So Riley Thompson, he saved what could have been a very bad day, so he did a good job there. So Licata still leads. Christopher Matthews second. Travis McQuistion third. Jeff Ward sits fourth. And right behind you see Hallibo. And there is Anthony Debaro on the inside. And Debaro is trying to recover. And remember, he was leading. He led the first really 40 laps of this race. And Jeff Ward drove right on by. So in the long run, I think that 89 is quicker. But we'll see if Debaro is quicker on the short run here.
All waiting to see how this ultimate battle plays out between the 27 and the 89, who of which are faster on this run. I think Debaro might catch him here, though. He's creeping in slowly towards the 89 as this run continues on.
So Thomas Bresci in the 24, he has also returned to the racetrack. Another one of those drivers that suffered from the server side issues tonight. It was just so convenient that that happened right as I had my own issues. But
it's Y2K all over again.
Oh, I think he just dropped again. Oh, he just smacked the wall out of turn 2. And he... All right, well. Okay, then. Jumping back up to Jeff Ward. This is going to be frustrating for Thomas Bresci, man. Casey Lakatos has made his way down to pit lane, as is Travis McQuistion in the 93. But Jeff Ward takes over the lead again, so our cycle has cycled out at the front of the field. Anthony Debaro is second, and he's quicker right now, Finian. So what are the chances the 27 goes up there and drives away from the 89, or do you think Jeff Ward's quicker overall?
I think Jeff Ford might be a little bit quicker overall. I mean, we have to kind of keep an eye. I think he'll get close to the 89, but don't think he's going to have quite enough to pass him.
And here comes Hayden Pistorius to the inside. Should be on much fresher tires than the 27, and should eventually get around him here. He's going to dive to the inside in turn 3 to take that spot away. Not for position. Pistorius is just fighting to get his lap back. But this is actually hurting Debaro, and Ward has actually been able to extend his lead the last time through. Casey Shue, Will Roberts, they are fighting for 12th. I remember Will Roberts back at Michigan in the season opener, and he came out of nowhere and almost won that race. And tonight he started way at the back of the field. I don't have the starting position anymore, but was way at the back, and he's 13th right now.
Yeah, he actually started back in 26th, then is up into 13th. So it's been a good move forward with Will Roberts. He even had a good run set going at Dover as well. Qualified really well there. Unfortunately, was taken down early into, I believe, the first caution too. At Dover, so he goes to the inside of Casey Shue with relatively ease and should be able to make this pass for 11th.
Mitch Welker is still in, it was a 12th place position. That was Will Roberts fighting for. Mitch Welker is in 11th place, and his teammate Zach Buchanan is back to 14th. Mitch definitely seems to have a little bit more pace than his teammate at the moment, but again, this is the long run game here. I mean, so I think that just shows you that the 76 is better on the long runs, but if we start getting some cautions, the short run pace could be very different. So we'll see if that 40 car can match his teammate's pace later in the race. All right, so 20 cars in the lead lap. Everyone's gotten pretty spread out, although our leaders are beginning to kind of accordion back together as Debaro has run just a skosh quicker the last couple laps. There is, I believe, is that Marshall Stanley? Yes, it is. The number 25, that pale yellow car, and that will be one lap down for the 25. All right, that was kind of a chaotic first 60 or so laps. Get a chance to take a break. I think we'll do a SimTV Sound Surge just to take a break for just a moment. Stay with us. Cutting that one a little bit short. There's a great battle going on right now for 4th place. Greg Evans, Thomas George, Matt Hollabaugh, and also Alec Martinez. There is so many cars in one little spot there, Finney. And how is this going to turn out?
Hopefully well, and hopefully they don't end up crashing with each other, but Martinez is going to rocket around the outside of Thomas George for a spot.
Yeah, Greg Evans just pounded the fence out of turn 2 and got a pretty significant amount of damage on that right front. Remember, he also contacted the wall earlier in the night, so for the 46, it's not what you want to be doing, is leaning on that right front fender, and right behind him is the Grid Life sponsored Camry of Alec Martinez, and he's going to swing to the right. Evans tried to throw a block. Oh, he takes him all the way to the wall, does the 46, and Alec's going to say, no thank you, I'm just going to drive right around the outside, and he'll get there.
He's got to watch it. He might get a little bit tight, so the 46 on the inside, but he'll just get by and take 2 spots in 2 laps and move himself up into 4th.
Yeah, Martinez, again, started back a little ways, but he's been as low as 20th and as high as what will be 4th place as he comes across the start-finish line here in that 54 car. So a good climb forward, and he could be a threat. He's lost a lot of ground to the leaders. He's 7.6 back from leader Jeff Ward, but get a caution, and this 54 car might be one to beat. Thomas George, Greg Evans trading spots behind. Starting to look like real life here, Finney, with the Chevrolets behind all the Camrys and Mustangs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mustang. The next Mustang is Mitchell Welker back in 10th. But
take a look at the manufacturer. It's Ford, Toyota, 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 Chevy, 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 Toyota, Ford, Ford, Chevy. Nope. Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Toyota. That's your top 15. John Rodden looks like he has left the racetrack here, Finian, in the 33. There is your lead right now. It's Jeff Ward by 9/10 of a second over Debaro. Then it's 4.7 back to Johnston.
And Thomas Presley and Nick Cohen have lost connection again.
They're just watching at this point. They're not even racing. I mean, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, it's. I think that's pretty much going to end both their nights. I think they decided to come back, after 1 point, say, all right, maybe we can make a night out of this thing after twice. I think they called it a day for both of them. So it's really unfortunate because that's two really competitive cars gone right there.
Well, here's an interesting stat. Alec Martinez, who sits fourth, his best lap time is one of the best inside the top 15, Finian. He actually is the quickest of the top 5. At least he was the last time through by a pretty significant margin. So this 54, not only was he quick, on the longer run, but he's actually starting to run down the leaders. It's a 7.6 second gap. I don't think he's going to have enough pace to run him all the way down, but, again, get a caution. This 54 car is my pick to win tonight.
Yeah, I think that's really the big point is that he doesn't have the pace to chase him down, but may have the pace to race with them with the caution coming out. But yeah, even then, still, he's set for a solid top 5 finish, and I don't think he'll be disappointed with that.
Filip Radojcic in the 14 car is trying to right a slide backwards in the 14, and he has done that. He's got Tyler Hensley in the 44 behind, and Hensley has not had a great start to this season. He's been a lot more competitive in the past. I don't think things are clicking right now with this 44 and this new package. He was certainly a lot more competitive with the lower downforce, with the more driver skill involved. But for Hensley, a struggle to start the season and no different here tonight.
Yeah, and even too, he had a half spin on lap 3, and that put him down about half a lap to the rest of the field. So he's made up quite a bit of spots, all things considered, and it's up into 17th.
Shane Ewing in the 32 has been a solid top 10 driver ever since he jumped in this series, but he's got Mitch Welker inside the top 10 and chasing him down from behind. And Mitch Welker, again, we talked about him earlier, kind of reducing his role within the iRacing Motorsport Simulation Service. He's kind of backing away from it a little bit, but still competing in the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series, and had a good night so far. He's inside the top 10 for the first time, and going to start his climb forward. You see Brian Chambliss up the road a little farther, off in turns 3 and 4, chasing down Matt Hollabaugh, who's really struggling. He tried the undercut. It's not working for the 0-2.
Yeah, it's really not working and putting him really far back as Brian Chambliss is chasing him down. How about Brian Chambliss, too? He's done phenomenally well. I didn't really think he would be running as well. This is not a dig at him, but he's been running a lot better than I expected in the Fuel Cup Series. He's currently, I believe, 8th or 9th in points. 9th in points.
Yeah, it's been a solid top 10 season so far. I'm sure he would like to visit victory lane. I don't think he's far off of that, but got a little bit of work to do to get to winning fashion. But he's certainly going to top 10 his way into the Fuel Finals if he continues doing what he's doing. And now about to make his way by Hollabaugh in turns 1 and 2. He's going to try to maybe cross him over and turn hard left. And the 0-2's got older tires. That it's not going to be much of a challenge here for the 45. But again, that dirty air is really struggling. I mean, this is what we saw at Texas, Finian, is we got this long green flag run, and passing became very difficult for these drivers.
Yeah, I think that's, again, due to the package. Not my favorite one on the 1.5 miles, but and probably you could probably ask quite a few drivers down on the track too, and they'll probably say that too, because there's quite a few who are struggling to get these passes done.
So Chambliss is finally going to work his way to the inside of the 0-2 down the back straightaway and push his way towards top 5. He's got a couple more spots to get there though. Tyler Hensley and Hayden Pistorius have just traded spots, so the 19 moves up to 16th place. Filip Radojcic and Casey Lakatos are 18th and 19th. Lakatos this has also not been a very good race for the 50. Started off the season really strong. The last couple weeks has really not been great for this 50 team. I don't know what has changed in this camp, but I think he's certainly looking forward to maybe some different racetracks in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and also didn't really play the strategy game the best. Tried to run the tank out, went to about lap 58. I think that's probably about the limit that these guys can go. I was hoping for caution, did not get that. Now, pretty off strategy compared to everyone else, and some of the drivers think are getting ready to make their next best stop within the next 10 to 15 laps to be on schedule.
Yeah, so this is a frustrating thing for Brian Chambliss. You see him all over the back of the 0-2. He thought he should have been able to make this pass easily, but even the tire difference isn't enough to overcome the aero push, and finally Chambliss is going to be able to get clear. No, he's not clear. The 0-2 is going to use that outside lane. The tire difference in these two is pretty drastic. There's quite a few laps between them on tires, but It's just so difficult to make a pass that Chambliss is having to work really hard to get by.
Yeah, all about just running that outside lane to his advantage. It looks like Chambliss is going to be able to clear him for now. As Hollow is building up a run, going to dart all over the track to the outside. He will look.
He's not done fighting just yet, so he moves over all the way to the wall, and Travis McQuistion is there. He's one lap down in 23rd. It's not a part of this mix, but I think Chambliss has it now, and I thought that a lap ago, though. And oh, the 0-2 is in the wall on the back straightaway. Can he save it? Sliding down the back straight, he does. That's going to hurt that race car quite a bit. Let's go back and take a look. Riding on board. He was committed to the throttle, trying to get back to the outside, and just there's not a lot of banking there to save it. And had it kind of working back and forth, and did a good job not over-correcting. Let's ride on board and just watch his hands here. Great work inside that cockpit to keep that car straight. A lot of other people, that would have been a crash, so good job by Hollabaugh to get that car pointed in the right direction. Third place, Timothy Johnston's under attack from guess who? Alec Martinez.
This battle now for third place. We'll see how quickly Martinez can make worth it. Timothy Johnson. This is a big fight. Johnson's not going to give it to him quite easily just yet.
Yeah, overall, they have lost time to the leaders. Martinez is 8.1 back now, but again, picking up track position. If he gets a caution, he'll be in good shape tonight. We've blown past the halfway point here tonight. That has already dished out those points. And you see Johnston's going to be able to roll that outside lane and keep the 54 behind him for the moment. But I think Alec is quick enough that eventually he should be able to work his way around. Let's just watch from above here for a minute. I just want to see how the 54 gets by this 28. He's carrying a lot more speed through the center of 1 and 2. Now when they get to 3 and 4, I wonder if the 54 will try a drastically different line or if he'll just stay doing what he's been doing. Moves up the racetrack.
Looks like he's prioritizing the exit of the corner while Johnson been prioritizing entry.
Again, he stayed pretty much middle there, though, did the 54. And look at all that speed he's going to carry on the front straight now to the back of the 28. And swing to the right. The 28's going to throw the block. The drivers have been really aggressive tonight, trying to conserve their momentum. And if they don't have it, they've just been throwing blocks. And that's what we've seen in the real world as well, is drivers have to throw blocks to keep their positions. And it's really leading to some pretty sketchy action out there. But Alec Martinez is sick and tired of it because he's been trying to pass people all night and getting bumpers thrown in his face. So he's desperately trying to work his way around. But a block is fair game. I mean, it's self-policing. If you throw a block that's too late, you're going to get yourself crashed. So now the 54 gets to the outside lane, and they've just gone by Evan Adams, who is 2 laps down in 26th. And here, the 54, whoa! The 28 had to jump on the brakes, understeered in the middle of the corner there. That was a little sketchy.
Indeed it was. So a little bit of a sketchy move between the 28 and the 54, but the 54 will win and continue his march on forward. Although it's a long drive up the road to Anthony Debaro, who's fallen quite a bit off of Jeff Ward. He's fallen to 1.7 seconds behind the 89 car.
Hollabaugh hits pit lane. Going to try to repair some of that damage and get fresh tires and fuel. Again, we're kind of hitting that mark where we'll be coming in for our second pit stop of the night. And again, we've been caution-free since the drop of the green flag. We've gone well past half this race. So not a whole lot of racing left, about 26 minutes worth if we stay green from here.
Yeah, and also I think this will be the first green flag race we've had in quite a while on SimTV.
Yeah, I don't think we've done a caution-free race in a while. That's a correct way to word that. Thought I had something to add to that. I really don't, though. So now Hollabaugh might be able to overcome his issues in the short term with some fresh tires. But again, if this race runs green, he's going to be in trouble. If he gets a bunch of time on these fresh tires and then caution comes out, he'll be golden. But he's got to get his lap back first, which he is currently almost 2 down. So he's got a lot of work left to do.
Yeah, imagine a lot of the fields are going to be coming in for the pit stop within the next 3 or 5 laps. Ideally where you want to be coming down.
And Jeff Ward, last season, won a handful of races, went into Homestead with a chance to win a championship, wasn't able to get it. But this season, I don't think he's been quite as strong, but he didn't really start off very strong last season either. He came in late in the season on a hot streak, really starting at Twin Ring Motegi. That's really where he began to pick up his pace. And this year, I think that surge is happening a little earlier in the season.
Yeah, indeed it is. Ward's last win was in June, at ISM Raceway. So it's been a little while for the 89 to be back in victory lane, but if he continues this on, he should be able to visit it.
Casey Shue on pit lane in the number 4, back in 20th place. We'll see where he pops out a little later. Zach Buchanan, Will Roberts running together. And there is the 00 of Don Runkle Jr. And while we're back here, we'll focus on Don Runkle for a minute. Of course, we want to thank Don Runkle and the Mission 22 Foundation for sponsoring Mission 22 Cup Series. And, of course, their mission is to help out veterans with the suicidal issues and that sort of thing, and mental health issues. So Don Runkle Jr. Has come on board and with his own money, using this to support the cause here. So if you would like to donate to the Mission 22's cause, there is a link provided in the video description. As well as if he finishes inside the top 5, we'll donate towards the Mission 22 cause as well. So please join us. Although Don Runkle Jr. has not had a spectacular season, but he's 1 lap down right now, has a chance to get a lap back, so we'll see if he can improve his night. Johnson hits pit lane in the 28 machine. And interesting to note that Alec Martinez, remember a little while ago, he was 8.6 seconds back from Jeff Ward. Now he's 7.4 back. So he is actually closing in. I think he's still going to need help from a caution, but this 54 is probably one of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, he's definitely putting some time between himself and what would have been Jimmy Johnson before Johnson came into the pits. But yeah, he's starting to make some inroads with the 27, but really needs caution at this point. There's almost no way he's going to race that back down.
Whoa, Will Roberts locked up on pit lane entry. I don't know if he got it down to pit road speed, but Zach Buchanan was following him in. Dramatic entry there for the 39. Let's take a quick look at that.
Oh, and even more importantly, it's not even him just getting down to pit road speed. He might have gone off of pit road as well.
And here's a look. He's going to lock up the rear tires. Oh, yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a tight one. We'll see if he gets penalized for it. He'll pull into the box and get service. He looks like he's free, so no time penalty at the very least. Zach Buchanan just up the road. He's going to get out of his box and he'll actually beat the 39 in pit lane. Is there a pit box drive-through penalty, Finian?
I don't think so. I don't remember it being enforced in the series.
All right, there's a lot of series with a lot of different rules. We're just trying to make sure we got the right ones, but Zach drove through about 10 pit boxes on it.
And if there is, Will drove through about 8 or something.
Okay, all right. I'm confident.
I'm pretty sure the league owner would know the rules.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think it's a rule in pretty much every other Cup Series we do, so I'm just trying to keep all the different rules straight. That's why Finian's here, because he's usually got the rule book up in front of him. So Ward still runs around. It's 93 laps complete of 134, so that means we just got about 40 laps to go. And Debaro is second, 2.5 back. And good pace tonight for the 27. Not winning pace at the moment, but Alec Martinez in the 54 needs some track position, not necessarily in number of positions, but just time back with a caution. That would help him out a lot. I just don't think we're going to get a caution. These cars are so stuck to the racetrack, Finian, it'd be really interesting to see someone crash out by themselves. .40 laps to go at the front of the field. Ward leads by 2.6, and it's another 5 back to Alec Martinez. Martinez hits pit lane. A little bit of an undercut here. I like this strategy call.
Yeah, this is really what he needs to do to try to get some time on the 18, on the 89 and 27.
I would have thought maybe an overcut would have been a better idea. The problem is that there's not that many laps left in the race, so I think he's just going to try to do it for the short term and hope he gets a yellow. Into his box. Leaders stay out once again. Martinez is still in the box. Brian Chambliss in the 45 has also come in.
Greg Evans and Thomas George also pulling off to make their final pit stop of the night.
Greg Evans, I mean, if you had told me in the first season that the 46 would just be a top 10 car in the seasons beyond that, I would have said you're joking, because he absolutely dominated the first season of the Fuel Cup Series. And then in season 2, it just really didn't come together for him. He won one race, but was never really a huge factor. This season, it's been okay, but really not great for him either. So he's going to have to hope for a victory to help get him into the finals and lock himself in instead of having to point his way in again. On and off pit lane. Been pretty quiet out there action-wise since the first round of pit stops, Finney. And I think we've seen a lot of drivers discuss the aero package around here. Doesn't necessarily lead to the most interesting races in the world, but it does lead to clean races. And we've seen a lot of clean green flag racing tonight. But how about this? This is a battle for position. 12th place, Will Roberts, Zach Buchanan, and Brian Chambliss. Chambliss just came off of the pit lane, so he should have the freshest tires of the group.
Yeah, I will say it's not that interesting seeing guys running behind each other due to the air block, but once they get side by side with each other, they go tooth and nail because they know how hard it is to rebuild a back up a run and trying to make an attempt. So they'll go forward and be very aggressive about doing so as Chambliss is mounting a charge to the inside of Buchanan now.
Buchanan leaving him plenty of space. And out of turn 2, the 40 car is going to carry that momentum onto the back straight. Will Roberts is going to use this time to try to drive away from the 40, but didn't get quite as good of an exit off turn 2. And Chambliss right down to the yellow line. Oh, the 32 car, Shane Ewing slow in the middle of the racetrack. They have to go around him. That got a little dicey out of 4. Ewing right now is on the racetrack trying to stay out. And that's the difference the tires make right there. So Will Roberts is having a good night in the 39. Zach Buchanan has had a decent evening as well. He's actually leapfrogged his teammate Mitch Welker. So put Buchanan as the best running Project 2 machine. And whoa, look at Chambliss to the outside lane now, and he's going to get there. And that seems like what we're seeing drivers do is use up the other driver, get between them and the wall, and then it gets easy once you're on the outside lane.
Yeah, definitely the outside lane being the preferable lane to make passes and make some moves. You see Chambliss clearing Zach Buchanan off turn number 2.
Yeah, so Buchanan just learned something right there with the 45 going around his outside. He just learned how to make a pass. The problem is that you need to be able to execute that perfectly. It's not easy to do that without hitting the wall at a turn 2 like we saw with Hollabaugh earlier. And Will Roberts had to pinch it tight on exit. That's the 09 of Brent Jones that's bailing out of the way.
Yeah, and Jeff Ward and Anthony Debaro have still yet to come down a pit road. I'm amazed by this.
Well,
and as you said, here comes Jeff Ward.
Yeah, so here comes Ward down pit lane. And I think Debaro will probably stay out a couple more laps as long as he can. So interesting to note, though, how is Alec Martinez going to cycle out in relation to the leaders? Because if Martinez gets the lead away out of this and he gets a yellow, he'll look like a genius. But I don't know if that'll necessarily be the case. I just don't see a yellow happening anytime soon.
Yeah, we've gone through 2 complete fuel runs at this point without a caution. It's kind of doubt we're going to get one on the 3rd, but you never know what happens at these races. It always turn. We've seen quite a few races turn upside down towards the later half.
Closing on 30 laps to go. Not a whole lot of time left. Debaro stays out yet another lap. Jeff Ward rolls off the pit lane. And where is Alec Martinez in relation? Martinez is going to probably... Oh, this is going to be a little closer than I thought. But remember, Martinez was 8 seconds behind the 89 before. And here he comes. He's going to blow right around the outside of the 89. And so that means Alec Martinez will cycle out to be your leader, at least in the short term. He better run, because that 89 is going to get by him pretty quick here on fresh tires.
Yeah, it's going to be in the very short term. Casey Scottis is coming in to pit lane from the 4th position. But yeah, Debaro will continue out for the lead. I think this might be Martinez. He has a shot at getting a lead lap here until Ward gets past him.
And again, he needs a caution sooner than later to make this strategy really work, because he will drop down. I mean, he's not going to lose a whole lot of positions necessarily, but he's going to lose a lot of time to the leaders over the course of this last run. So he's going to have to drive super hard. Already, you see how much time the 89's been able to make back up. And 3 wide.
He's just flooring it. Wow.
Wow. And that's what fresh tires will do.
Yeah, no, not even a sweat coming off of the 89, just rocking it around the 54 and going to say goodbye to him.
And now Martinez has no chance at this point because the tires are older, so there's really nothing you can do at this point. I mean, you're stuck. You've made your bet, and you got to lay in it. So he's going to probably cycle out to be in front of the 27. Oh, was there contact out of turn 2? I think we're good. The 27 car is going to cycle up behind everybody here, but again, he's going to have the freshest tires of anyone. And this is my concern for Jeff Ward, is if Debaro has enough time to make up all that ground, he's going to win this race. But he's already actually passed Debaro, so that's going to be a pretty big gap to make up.
Yeah, I was going to say the gap should be quite immense, but you never know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of this overcut-undercut strategy this year, but the overcut always seems to work until that last run. There's just not enough laps left in the race for Debaro to make up what is likely going to be 5-10 seconds. I mean, that's just too much time to make up to the leader.
Yeah, and with under 30 laps to go, too. So it's a very big deficit, not a whole lot of time. Should be able to get to Martinez, but I don't know about Jeff Ward.
So Jeff Ward has laid down a blistering pace in this race. And he started the night up towards the front. And he just kind of latched on after he passed the 27 on that first run, and he has not let go. He's led ever since that first pit stop sequence, and he's probably going to continue to lead here. And what a win this would be for the 89 to be the first non-Toyota to win a race this season, the first non-Dizzy car to win a race this season. Did Dizzy car win last week?
Dizzy cars have won. Robert Hill?
Oh no, it was no, it was the driver that can't. What's his name? He can't run in the playoffs. What's his?
Robert Hill. Yeah.
Is that?
Robert Hill.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Robert Hill Jr. Okay, so it's not the same guy. But yeah, he's also a Dizzy car and also driving a Toyota car, I believe, right?
Oh, sorry, Robert Hall.
Robert Hall. That's the name we were looking for. So yeah, so he's also a Dizzy car, isn't he?
I think he is. He might not be.
Either way, the Toyotas have won every race this season, and Jeff Ward will be the first one to make that change with his Ford Mustang. And we're closing in on 25 laps to go. Thank you, Nick, in the chat for finally correcting us. We're going to get a laugh out of that one later. But, yeah. Anyway, so there's the 93 of Travis McQuistion. And Finian, McQuistion in the past has been a championship driver, but lately he has not looked like that. I mean, why would this be the case for the 93? Is this another package deal where he just isn't quite as good on the higher downforce package? Or is this just a driver struggling with an increased level of competition? What's your thought?
I think it's the increase in competition. I think he's just not really quite risen to the occasion. He also hasn't really made a whole lot of starts this season, too. But yeah, it's been not the best runs for McQuistion. Started at Michigan, qualified well there in 13th, finished in 40th. Daytona finished 21st, and at Darlington finished 43rd. So it's been a struggle for McQuistion this year.
That got really dicey on the back straight. We're watching McQuistion, and here's the 89 of Jeff Ward as the leader on the back straight. This horde of lap traffic. Where are you going to go? Can't make it 3 wide, so he just sticks in behind the 93. McQuistion backs out, and the 89 had to almost rear end him. But he finally got through. He has not been able to pass the 93 just yet, though. So checking in on our second place driver, Alec Martinez. There he is. Anthony Debaro is 2.3 back from him. And then Thomas George, half a second back from that. Of course, Debaro with the freshest tires of anyone inside the top 5.
And he's catching Martinez by his second on lap. So no contest there between those two drivers.
And Martinez really needs a caution. Right now, this actually, if he gets past for third and then the caution comes out, that would be exactly what he wants to get in a position to win this race. But I don't think that's going to happen. I consider this race already has pretty much gone caution-free. Matt Hollowell, though, this race has been, top 10 run isn't bad, but this is certainly not quite as good as it could have been for the 0-2.
I don't even think he's going to finish in the top 10 because he's actually getting passed by Timothy Johnson as we speak to knock him outside there back into 11th. And I think he might drop just a little bit further on because he was one of the first guys to come down pit road.
Casey Shue and Shane Ewing fighting for 12th place. They got a little dicey on the front straightaway, and they're not done fighting yet. And Ewing going to pull ahead in 3 and 4, complete the pass on Shue.
Yeah, Tyler Hensley is going to come on 14th, and considering what happened to him early in the race, losing almost half a lap to the leaders after having a little spin on lap number 3, up into 14th, that's not a bad night at all.
Here comes Debaro for second place on the 54, and this is going to make Alec look like he's stopped on the racetrack here when they get to the corner.
And off the corner they come, and Debaro is just going to rock it on the straightaway and say adios to the 54, who can pretty much do nothing.
Yep, and Martinez is already back 7 seconds behind Jeff Ward, so if you look back and if he had just pit with Jeff Ward, he at least maintained the gap. So this is looking like not a great strategy call for the 54. It was worth a try, hoping that they got a caution, but did not have the luck necessary to go with that. Will Roberts is inside the top 10. He's sitting 7th right now. This has been just a really good run for him. Buchanan and Mitch Welker, the Project 2 cars, both inside the top 10. Solid runs for both these drivers. 20 laps to go here at Kentucky. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's amazing how this run has kind of cycled out. A lot of guys moving up the order and a lot of guys dropping back just due to pitting at different times.
Right on board with Jeff Ward for a lap as he negotiates traffic and hear how much on throttle they are. That's what makes it so tricky to pass, is when everyone's pinned through the firewall, Finian, it's pretty tricky to really do anything with any drivers in front of you if you're both flooring it around the whole track. We haven't had a single crash tonight.
Yeah, I know.
At least not... I mean, we've had a couple near spins, but I wouldn't even remotely call those crashes.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you were to look at... I wish we had a thing for this. There's no way we could. We had like a graphic, I guess, for the amount of damage done to people's cars. Other than some damaged bodywork, maybe some hurt feelings here and there, I don't think there's a lot of damage to a lot of race cars. Everyone's looking pretty clean.
Yeah, I mean, it's been... again... Races like this, you know, people watching at home, we like it because it goes by nice and quick, but the drivers are frustrated inside these cars. Don't get that wrong. I mean, they're not really a huge fan of just being able to pin it around, and it's so hard to make up time. And I think there's some frustration for sure among some of the drivers, but this is what we have to work with here.
And I think actually Greg Evans, probably has the most damage to any race car out here.
Which is saying something, because that car is still running inside the top 5.
That car is still running inside the top 5. It only has only the right side of that car is damaged. The rest of it's fine.
I also love this livery, this Chevy certified service. Just the yellow and gold, or the gold and gray go really well together with the white.
And actually, since we're talking about paint schemes real quick, I want to go look at Anthony Debaro and look how many contingency sponsors he has on his car.
That is looking pretty solid there, I would say.
He has a lot.
Compare that.
He also has Nick Sucks on the quarter panel, too.
I'm trying to find someone that doesn't have a whole lot. Ryan Chambliss doesn't have a whole lot going on in his. Neither does Will Roberts. But checking back in with Greg Evans, though, is currently Thomas... Actually, we'll go up to Thomas George in the 9. Currently, Thomas George is the highest running bow tie. And I want to have you make a prediction, Finian. How many more races do we go before a Chevrolet wins a race?
All right, well, let's look at our Chevrolet drivers. I think probably the most likely to get a win out of that camp, I think, is probably going to be Thomas George or Greg Evans. Might be another driver I'm not counting for, but Thomas Presley too, can't forget him. So between those 3 guys, I'd say the most likely to win out of the Chevy camp. Maybe probably 3 or 4. I would say you gotta imagine it sometime soon. That's a really good group of drivers. Those 3, they just haven't really gotten the luck on their side so far this season.
Mitch Welker running in 9th, running about a 10th quicker a lap than teammate Zach Buchanan. So I wonder if these 2 drivers will get to fight it out amongst themselves. We're almost done with this race. About 6 minutes of racing left. 13 laps to go for Jeff Ward to pick up a victory here. His first of the season, the first non-Toyota driver to get a victory in the series. And we're good to the end on fuel. Everyone here is good. Martinez really the only one that's even remotely close. He's 27 laps into a run. So Alec, now my concern is that he's going to drop out of 3rd spot because Thomas George is reeling him in, although last time through they ran almost dead even lap time. So I don't know if George will have enough tire left to go get him.
Oh, you know what's the funny thing? They almost ran identical lap times last time through. This time they ran identical lap times this time through.
31.805 to a 31.806. And this time a 31.855 to a 31.867. So a touch faster for the 54. So it looks like he might be safe in a podium for now. 6.3 between Anthony Debaro and Jeff Ward, but it's this guy that's led the most laps tonight. And he's just absolutely dominated. And this is dangerous for everybody else. If he's this good at night tracks and 1.5 mile tracks in general, then it's going to be a danger for the rest of the field here come the rest of the season. He's certainly going to be in good shape after he locks himself into the Fuel Finals, which he will do with a victory here tonight. As we head looking forward to next week, we're going to head to a short track at Richmond. Then we go to Talladega, USA, and that's our last regular season race. So we're running out of opportunities to lock yourself in. We start our Fuel Finals at Indianapolis, then we head to Charlotte, Watkins Glen, ISM, and Las Vegas to finish out the season. So if Jeff Ward could lock himself in tonight, it'd certainly be good. Meanwhile, the Project 2 teammates, they're door-to-door on the back straight, and Mitch Walker is going to drive right on by Zach Buchanan. Hayden Pistorius and Riley Thompson, also teammates, running 16th and 17th. But
so a lot of teammates running next to each other.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a disappointment tonight for Dizzy overall, because I guess they're not continuing their domination of the series. But Debaro's going to finish second, which is not bad at all. But, of course, Nick Cohan with the server-side issues out of the race. The 28 of Timothy Johnston, not a bad run, the top 10 run right now, but certainly probably wants a little bit more to solidify himself as a championship favorite. Remember, won at Daytona, but you know, considering how that race ended, I don't know if we can really say a whole lot about how championship capable or ready this 28 team is. So we'll see as we get towards the end of the season if that 28 can improve his efforts. Meanwhile, 8 laps to go, and Jeff Ward leads by 6.8 seconds, and he's lapped everybody up to 11th place Shane Ewing.
Not a whole lot of action going on at the track. Not many guys close together from what I can see.
No, it's pretty much just finishing this one out at this point. This will be the first caution-free race on SimTV. I think the last caution-free, and I could be wrong about this, but the last caution-free race I think we had was Las Vegas ORL.
I can check that. Give me a second.
I'm pretty sure that was the case. I think they might have, someone else, I think 3Y might have had a caution-free race somewhere here or there. But this is certainly not a common occurrence, but it's our first time on SimTV commentating Cup Series here at Kentucky, and
yeah, so
Grip out here to...
Go
ahead.
Yeah, no, that race was caution-free. That was on June 29th.
So it's been, what, 4 months?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think this is also for the Fuel Cup Series. I think this is their first caution-free race.
First ever?
I would think so.
No, there it wasn't. Oh no, I was gonna say I thought Las Vegas their first season finale, but I remember that issue on the front straightaway. They had a RG. Or actually, did that even cause a caution? I don't remember. The first season.
Let's check that.
Yeah. This would certainly be the first time if that wasn't the first time. But 5 laps to go for Jeff Ward, and can't say he didn't deserve this one. Meanwhile, Tyler Hensley and Hayden Pistorius, they're side by side at the moment. Here comes the 19.
Yeah, and that race had 4 cautions.
Okay, so I was wrong about that one. So I think this would be Fuel's first ever caution-free race. As I say that, the 44-19 almost got a little ugly down there on the back straightaway. How about a green-white checker to end this one? That would be entertaining. Re-rack everybody, restack everybody, give them 4 fresh Goodyears.
It would be interesting, too, if we got green-white checkers, because remember, we have unlimited green-white checkers as far as time permits, and we still got 25 minutes left in the server.
4 to go. It's been a Toyota-dominated season, and it's probably because the team with the most drivers on it that really hit, they're all that the Dizzy Motorsports drivers are championship capable. I think we know that. But the fact that there's so many of the drivers that are so good in this series, all on one team, on one manufacturer, shows the dominance of the Toyota teams. Now, this will be the first time this season that someone other than a Toyota Camry will visit Victory Lane. And that would certainly be an interesting way to wrap this one up, bringing a blue oval to Victory Lane. It'll be 2 laps to go this time by for Jeff Ward. He's got to negotiate some more lap traffic. And in 1 more lap, he'll be safe from a green-white checkered, which is unlikely already, but he can make it impossible in 1.5 miles.
Yeah, and he's just done a really solid job. Took away the lead very early on in this race. And ever since then, just really never looked back to Debaro. And it also helped, too, that Nick Cohen, another potential rival for this win, had some internet issues.
Yeah, it certainly mixed things up a little bit. If we had a caution, this race might look very different, but we have not. It's been a long-run game for the 89 and Jeff Ward. He's played it right from the get-go. And I think our championship favorite might still be the 27 of Debaro with a trio of victories so far. But Jeff Ward is going to launch himself into the championship picture tonight in that 89 Mustang. Bourbon barrel on the quarter panel. And on the back straightaway, he's going to bring it back home for his first victory of the season through turns 3 and 4. Kentucky Motor Speedway for Jeff Ward, the site of his first victory in the 2019 Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series. Jeff Ward wins at Kentucky. And a long way back in a whole other zip code, here comes Anthony Debaro. Spin out of turn 4. It's the 0-2 Hollow across the start-finish line. He's going to slide there. He's not quite going to make it. Is he going to lose any spots? He does. There goes Don Runkle around him.
Oh, that's unfortunate. It was so close.
And he'll park it, and he's going to drop down a couple more spots, unfortunately. He could have just made it a few more feet. He would have been good. But the rest of the field coming on through the start-finish line. But dominance on a scale that we don't see often. The 89 Award victorious in the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series. He's locked into the Fuel Finals now, and he'll add his name to the list of drivers that will be competing for a championship come season's end. Picking up that checkered flag. Burnout time for the Mustang for the first time this season. They get to unleash all that blue oval horsepower. I don't think anybody questioned his ability to drive, Finian, but I don't think we can count him out of the championship favorites after tonight. He'll launch himself up there with the trio of Toyotas that has won this season. Actually, the quartet of Toyotas. Of course, Robert Hall not able to compete for a championship. And your running order, your finishing order, scrolling all across the top of your screen. Disappointments tonight, Finian. Nick Cohan back in 21st. Had a really strong run. Of course, technical issues prevented him from winning. Thomas Bressi, 33rd. That's going to hurt in the points for sure for the 24. For the 71, Gael Brooks needed points tonight to have any shot at the playoffs. Back down in 35th spot. And Ward's going to smack the fence out of turn 4. And there goes a race-winning car. That's going to hurt. All right, we're going to jump to break. We'll be back in just a moment with your winner. Stay with us. Welcome back live to SimTV, here now with our third place finisher, Alec Martinez, driving the Grid Life sponsor number 54 Toyota Camry for Sim Motorsports. Alec, a strong run tonight for you in that 54 team. Some strategy played there at the end to try to steal some track position, but ultimately kind of stalemating up in third. Do you think you could have won this race with a caution or two?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. At the beginning of the start, they kind of checked up a lot, and I think that kind of hurt me as at the beginning. Um, I think if we went and had that, I maybe the more a little bit extra track position could have got me up to Debaro and Ward, but they were way faster. So I don't know. I know I was faster probably than most of the guys on the longer runs because I was able to save my tires. But wish I could do that better on the short tracks. But I don't know. It's I guess good performance for Kentucky. I guess I'm somewhat good there, and I'm not a fan of it, but I don't know. I guess can't complain about third. So
Well, the schedule next week, I know you're not looking forward to what's on there. That is next week, Richmond Raceway.
woo, yeah, woo.
I know you're not a huge fan of that place, but it's Richmond, Dega, and USA before the Fuel Finals begin. Any one of those places, do you think you could win? Or is there one on your schedule that you think you definitely are going to win at?
Talladega, man, you can always win. I don't know. Talladega's always going to be a track where somebody can win. We might see a fluke winner at Talladega. So I don't know. Talladega's more people can probably get into the playoffs. So more wrecks, more action, more desperate moves. So that'll be interesting. Richmond, I can't wait to suck at that track. It's by far my worst track. So we'll see what happens there. USA, that's something circled on there. I don't know. I've never raced cup cars on that track, so that'll be fun.
All right, well, Alec Martinez, podium again in the number 54 Toyota Camry night. Alec, thanks for talking. Good luck next week.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yep. All right, second place, Anthony Debaro, one of the Dizzy Motorsports Toyota Camrys, and Toyotas have swept every race this season until tonight. What'd you need to go beat that 89?
I don't know. I think it's just racetrack and my driving style doesn't really suit me. We got out front there, clean air obviously helped us out there in the beginning. Then once I got behind them, even though I had a couple laps of fresh tires in that middle run, I couldn't get back to them. So it's kind of surreal to be disappointed with second with our season the way it's been going, but I'll take it. And that's I think we finished in the top 10 every single race so far this season, so I can't really complain about that.
Certainly the performances this season have been really solid, but is there some frustration out there on the racetrack with the inability to make passes or the inability to really play any strategy that'll benefit you in any way? It just seems like it's so challenging to make up any ground if there isn't a restart. I mean, the green flag runs are a blessing, but are they also a curse?
Well, with this package with the low horsepower, high downforce, you can't really pass, so it's becoming more of a mental game than it is actually dealing with your talent. Like with the old package, you used to be able to make up time by driving the car differently with brakes, and because there's a lot of off throttle time. Now it's just I could go around there one handed and drive it the same way as I would do with both hands on the wheel. It's just certain tracks it races better than others.
All right, well, Anthony Debaro, second place tonight. Another great finish, but maybe a little bit of disappointment in the Dizzy Motorsports camp. Anthony, thanks for talking. We'll see you next week at Richmond.
Thank you.
Moving on next, and to our race winner, Jeff Ward in the 89, absolutely dominating tonight's race. 134 laps of racing, and you're going to come out on top by almost 8 seconds. Caution-free night. Do you think if there were cautions, it would have made the job a little harder?
Yeah, Cal. There's been a couple races this year where cautions really bit us. So, I wish more of them would go green like this because a lot of times we got a really good long run car, kind of like we did tonight, and that kind of plays right into my strategy. Usually, I like to kind of lay back on the starts there and try to reel people back in. But yeah, it went the way we needed to. It stayed green, and our strategy worked out. And what a hell of a night, man! That's my home track. I come in here, I really want to get that one, so pretty pumped up about it.
Of course, you've locked yourself into the Fuel Finals. So the next couple of weeks, we head to Richmond, Dega, and USA. Before we start the Fuel Finals, do you think you can rack up a couple more wins before then? And is there any track on the schedule that you have circled as your favorite?
Richmond, I like Richmond. Never been super fast there. Maybe a top 5 car. Dega, that's just a crapshoot. Hopefully we can run up front there and try. So no tracks in particular, man. This was the one I had circled right here and was able to get it done. So I'm glad I'm locked in. We can just go out there and have fun until the chase starts, and this is pretty awesome.
All right, pretty awesome for the 89 of Jeff Ward. Winner here in the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series. He locks himself into the finals. Jeff, congratulations. Thanks for talking. We'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, here's one last look at our race results before we head out to Richmond Raceway next week. Finian, your thoughts after a very clean and green Kentucky Motor Speedway race tonight?
Yeah, it was a really good race these guys put on, especially taking it green all the way from flag to flag. A little bit, I guess some people might say a little bit boring, and I guess you could argue that it was. But yeah, no, pretty good race, quite a bit of respect from everyone to make sure that there wasn't any wreck, not a lot of cars damaged, and we'll continue on to Richmond.
Yeah, very solid night of racing, and everyone did a great job avoiding any kind of accidents. Of course, the race spread out, and Jeff Ward was the driver atop the standings at the end of the night. Richmond Raceway, short track racing from the 3/4 mile track next Tuesday. What's coming up on Sim TV next? Fuel IndyCar Series action. They return to Sim TV on Thursday night. I believe they're at Texas this week, so we'll see you there. 9 o'clock p.m. Thursday evening. Have a good night.